Ever since the days of Cannibal Holocaust and the Blair Witch Project, found footage has been a reused and often abused method of storytelling for the horror genre. But Netflix's Archive 81 brings back what we thought was lost and manages to tell a compelling story without being weighed down by doing things totally different. Let's go over what it is and why it works. There will be mild spoilers, but I'll give you a heads up in case you want to unravel it for yourself. After an opening sequence establishing the found footage aspect, we meet Dan, a quiet tape collector who does video restoration both as a job and a hobby. He soon receives a damaged tape for restoring marked confidential and finds what most video archivists consider gold, a true mystery. The tape seems to be connected to an apartment building called a Visser that burned down decades before, and he's approached by a shady company to work on site to recover more tapes and help answer the questions surrounding the incident. It is through these tapes we meet the person recording them, Melody. She's a striving young woman doing a project on the Visser's residence and history of the building. As she interviews and meets the tenants, we get a glimpse that something just below the surface is not quite right. Where many movies and shows of this genre fail is in overplaying the camera must be rolling aspect, wherein the protagonist must be recording everything for the story to progress. This is solved here by giving the audience more than just what Dan sees, as well as cutting between his world and Melody's. Archive 81 takes its time curating an atmosphere of isolation and dread of something unknown looming just behind the curtain. Dan is doing his work from a compound with very little connection to the outside world, while Melody finds herself swirling down a rabbit hole, not knowing that she too isn't deeper than she had expected. In Dan's instance, this is made obvious, as the compound is nothing more than a rat's cage, with cameras monitoring everything he does, while Melody is approaching a tightly knit community with a dark secret and only her barren apartment for reprieve. The main plot of Archive 81 tells a simple story of discovering a dark cult and being pulled in unwillingly. Both characters are entangled, not just by pulling at the strings through investigation, but by their pasts as well. This cult seeks to tear the veil between worlds and loose an entity promising everything. Though instead of having the audience stumble across this group from the outside, as in The Ritual, we are led into shallow water, only to have the levels rise and discover we were in the middle of it the entire time. The two main characters develop a relationship that begins to affect each other's world. The scene where Dan watches as Melody directly references something he said is particularly well done because we as the audience see this coming, but it is handled in such a way that the impact still lands and adds yet another layer of intrigue. The ending, while offering solid closure for some, takes a bolder approach than I had expected. In a way, I hope this is the only season, and we are left with some things unfinished. Overall, Archive 81 does a fantastic job of building an engaging atmosphere and dishing out some rewarding story. The supporting characters fit neatly into believable lives and have important roles to play as things progress. My gripes with the show are very few, as it rarely falls for the typical horror traps that pull the audience out of immersion. The actors have enough time to shine without dragging things out, which allows the love for suspense to really show. This is a series that touches on many stories we've seen and heard before, but with enough care and effort to make it feel wholly original. It is because it is a series and not a movie that I can take the time and dig deep to construct a vibrant history within 8 episodes. If you enjoy cryptic thrillers, definitely give this one a watch.